Bradenton, Florida, home of 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. A week of battling, balling, and bossing it on the field culminates in 2 winners from 2 age groups cementing their legacy at Generation Adidas Cup.
Shaping to strike, another curling ball, punched away again.
Generation Adidas Cup finals begin now.
Hits this ball all the way across the field.
Beautiful, sunny Florida is the site for the U16 championship final in the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. Past winners LA Galaxy and Real Salt Lake eye their second ever championship here at GA Cup. So great to have you with us as we welcome you up here to the broadcast booth alongside former MLS striker Kalen Carr, Michael Watring. So great to have you with us for this one. Kalen, 2 MLS sides in both finals, U16, U18. These 2 beat international teams. How much has this game evolved?
It's been impressive throughout the tournament, and the international competition, that piece of it, has been the most intriguing part of it for me, to see MLS teams go against the likes of storied clubs like Genk and PSV, some of the best clubs in Belgium and the Netherlands, and then beat them, go to the final. And that's a trend. If you look at the last 3 years, 5 of the last 6 winners have been MLS clubs. And I couldn't help but watch the matches yesterday in MLS, on MLS Season Pass, on Apple TV, and Benjamin Krabaski, who played here at GA Cup, scores the winner to go in front of 62,000 in Cleveland. So the next talent that's emerging is right here, and we're going to get a great look at them today.
It's a bit of contrasting styles in this final. Real Salt Lake have not given up a goal in the last 248 minutes. They're so stingy defensively, but very technical in the attack.
Yeah, and when they win it, they go quick. Make no mistake about it. You see Silva getting in the attack, Hashimoto, Van Parker stretching the field, and that's the way Jordan Allen, the former RSL man himself, has got this team playing. And how about this for the confidence, the athleticism, and RSL have continued to fight their way through the knockout stages using every available tool in the arsenal. Great goal here from Martinez in behind. They deserve to be in this position, continue to fight, and when they make mistakes, they don't make them, but they punish you on the other side of it. And Rylan Hashimoto is a name to watch today. He has been tremendous throughout this tournament.
A celebration to get to the final for RSL, now looking for their second ever championship. As you take a look at the starting 11 for Real Salt Lake, a lot of the usual suspects. Hashimoto, 3 goals in the tournament.
Yeah, and Hashimoto will tuck inside, almost has 2 10s alongside Silva, underneath Parker, with Peralta and Tyre coming down that right flank. And those 2 midfielders are so important today in that build-out phase, with Martinez, the Mexican Youth International, and Martin right next to him.
So that's how RSL lines up for this matchup. Conversely, for LA Galaxy, they have such a deep, talented crop of players. It's a different look to this lineup, but they can score at coming off of that exciting win against PSV.
Yeah, and I spoke to their manager, JP Mujica, before the match, and he spoke about the maturity of this group, the way that they've come together. They played together in the U15s, went to the next cup final, lost to Chicago, but they've continued to build on top of it. Their star players, Mujica has gotten the best of him, led by Aaron Medina. He has continued to score goals. Their captain, Eddie Chadwick, will miss this match due to a red card that he got in the very dying seconds against PSV. So they'll have to do it without him, but they've been opportunistic. Once again, Medina, Steelman, Villatoro up top have been fantastic, and there's history between these 2 clubs. They've gone at it throughout the regular season, now getting their chance, but this one right at the death to allow the Galaxy to advance versus PSV. A wonderful ball in here from Chadwick, and what a finish for Medina to put it in the back of the net.
And advancing to the final, in the U16 bracket here at Generation Adidas Cup. Some of those stars are on the bench. Alexis Mondragon, however, 3 goals in the tournament, gets the start.
Yeah, he gets his opportunity. Aaron Medina is actually coming off the bench. Same with Steelman. It's an interesting play here from the manager, Mujica, who wants his players rested and ready. We'll see how early he goes to them. And without Eddie Chadwick in steps Salazar in that left back position. But they're going to continue to build through that midfield and see if they can get those numbers moving in transition in the attack.
So we're ready to go. It is RSL in the red and blue kits, the all-whites for LA Galaxy, and the U16 championship final ignites with RSL in possession. So great to have you with us in the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. Game number 2 of 4 today here at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. And as we get ready for this one, exciting to watch how contrasting styles play out in this one. 4 straight clean sheets for RSL. Meanwhile, 3 goals in 2 of the last 3 during the knockout stage for LA Galaxy.
Yeah, Salt Lake have just been so good defensively, have not conceded a single goal through the run of play. The only goal that was scored against them was from the penalty spot against Club America, a match that they found their way back all the way through. Just really been so stingy, and that makes them so much more dangerous in the attack when you know that it doesn't take much. One may be the difference, and the Galaxy on the other side have been devastating in the attacking phase of play, but missing a few of their attackers from the start. So, as you mentioned, contrasting styles to some degree, and expect Galaxy to look to be the protagonist, building out of the back, playing their game model we see from the academy all the way to the first team.
These 2 teams did play during the MLS next regular season. It was a 1-0 decision for LA Galaxy in September. It was a red card that RSL played the final 30 minutes of that match with, and Juan Martinez scored in the 90th minute of that game. And then in March, a 5-0 win for LA Galaxy. They scored 4 times in the final 10 minutes of the first half to take out Real Salt Lake. So these 2 teams know each other well. There are some players on RSL that were denied by LA Galaxy, and then conversely, the other way around. There were some for LA Galaxy that were denied by Real Salt Lake. And will be a fun one to watch today, and it's a good atmosphere already.
Yeah, and I expect every single one of those players to remember that. And there's a lot of history between these clubs. I was thinking back to it myself of the 09 MLS Cup final between these 2 teams that Salt Lake ended up lifting the cup. And I was like, wait, all these players were born in 2009, 2010. So some of that history predates them, but even through the academy system, these 2 have battled. I mentioned that match just a couple months ago, 5-0 at halftime in favor of the LA Galaxy, and that's not forgotten by this RSL team. A lot of times you see all the way up to the first team a little bit of a chip on their shoulder amongst that player profile, and expect to see more of that today.
We'll see how this one takes flight. 2 teams, one in RSL that won its group during the group stage. LA Galaxy were second in its group, finishing behind Montreal, losing in penalties, but they got the revenge in the knockout stages in the quarterfinal.
And the Galaxy have committed to playing out of the back. We'll use Cunningham here often as a dual pivot, building. See, just now getting past that line of confrontation, finding some space.
Good space here. Torres whistles it inside of the 18, and that ball skims off of Chiazzi's and out, but the flag is up for offside.
And they find this ball forward to Torres, who's just looking for it outside, and it's just a step off there for a Mondragon, but that's a part of the pressure, the profile of this club for the Galaxy is to invite some pressure. Once they're able to build through it, see they're able to break lines and go from there.
LA Galaxy, one of the classes of the academy levels. The U17s winning the championship in MLS next last year after finishing GA Cup runners-up. And as you mentioned, the U15s finishing runners-up in MLS Next Cup. This ball nearly given away. It does end up working its way out. Salazar backpedals. And now recycles McLean. Parker knocks that away. I want you to go inside of the mind of Aaron Medina, a striker that is the team's leading goal scorer in this tournament with 4 goals. He scored 2 yesterday, including the game winner. He gets the start on the bench. What would your mindset have been if you were a striker entering this final?
Well, it's a difficult one because they put so much into it, and Medina is really one of the primary reasons they've been able to make it to this final today. His partnership, especially up top with the right winger Max Steelman, both U.S. youth internationals, have been fantastic, but I think a big piece of it is just the taxing nature of the way this tournament has gone, the amount of games they've played in a short duration. And yes, I understand they're shortened 30-minute half. Today we'll see 35. So a little extra added on to that, but I believe JP Mojica had to make a tough decision, some honest conversations with his star players. So you see Van Parker just a little bit off on that, looking behind. And look, it's not easy as a striker to say, hey, I'm going to go on the bench, and especially with the confidence that he's had. But I think that Mojica wants to have his star players ready for the stretch, not to burn them early in this match, and a little bit of a wrinkle to see how quickly does he go to them. I think some of that comes down to the game states of this match.
Yeah, we'll keep our eye on that, on how this game works out, and when we'll see Medina and Steelman in this matchup. Torres intercepts. Torres circles. Torres rips this ball around, and it's over everybody. And it rolls out for a goal kick. No, corner kick, rather. It does take a deflection.
Yeah, it's good work from the Galaxy, working from one side to the next, and Torres streaking down this right flank. And we've seen some dangerous goals happen, some own goals happen. Set pieces, such a big, important part of tournament play. I don't care what tournament it is, from the World Cup all the way down. We've seen the Galaxy be able to take advantage of that. Good opportunity here early in this match.
Galaxy with the first corner of the game. And it goes short. Menendez. And this ball flies in, and it's picked up by Chiazis on the curl from Juan Martinez. This ball given away right at the top of the circle. Viatoro twirls.
And Viatoro, the one lone standing starter amongst that front three, just so clever in tight spaces, gets into a good spot defensively, but like best about him, he always is able to sense the space, turn forward, and play positive.
Viatoro right on cue, rolls this in. Salt Lake clear. Parker was a target, it never reached him. Viatoro back on it, throws it out top. Martinez chips it along, and Chiazis picks it up.
Salt Lake have had a little trouble building out this first phase, their progression. You can see Chiazis just letting go a little bit more direct here to Parker, who's been excellent in hold-up play throughout this tournament.
He does it again here. Despite the 2 defenders, Hashimoto gets taken out. It is a foul, and a free kick coming here for Salt Lake.
Yeah, but that's a matchup to watch, and Parker and Hashimoto have built a really nice partnership on this right side, and you can see just Hashimoto getting that edge. Salazar stepping in for the red-carded Eddie Chadwick, who's a U.S. and England youth international, their captain, one of their leaders. So this matchup on the right-hand side with Hashimoto's ability one-on-one to get isolated, it's a matchup that Salt Lake will look to continue to exploit.
Jonah Georgis lines this ball up. Georgis hits it right into the 2-man wall.
Keep an eye on how Salt Lake build out. We saw a few times trying to play through pressure, and that got picked off by Viatoro, looking to play a little bit more direct through this man at times. So have to pick their moments as far as when to build out and when to bypass.
We've seen this through Salt Lake throughout this tournament, that they don't always possess, but when they do, they're very decisive with that possession in the attacking half. Martinez lays it off. A late slide. This ball rolled in right at the top. And Dragon. That's his shot blocked. And then it comes out. Here's Parker. This is where he excels. Parker tips it away. Reinforcements coming. It's Hashimoto chasing. Hashimoto inside of the box. Hashimoto dances past the keeper and rolls this through. He scorches the strings. His fourth of the tournament puts Salt Lake in front. 1-0.
How about this for a start for RSL? Having lost their last match 5-0 to the Galaxy, and how about this for the play from Van Parker, playing it through as a 9, but finding the 10, streaking through with Hashimoto, and the composure here to throw the little step over around Nelson. Hashimoto, one of the more creative players we've seen all of GA Cup, and shows the clever ability to go one-on-one, not with the defender this time, but with the goalkeeper instead, and puts RSL up 1-0 here in the final.
Hashimoto's fourth goal of the tournament leads the team during the regular year with 13. And it's all because of the play from Van Parker at midfield, holding that play up. When he turned around, there were 4 white jerseys in front of him, and it's a great run from Hashimoto as well.
Yeah, but the 9 hold-up play has been so important, but the ability to get on the half turn, to face forward, and then, as you mentioned, draw attention, that allows that space in behind where Hashimoto is able to streak in. But the part that stands out to me all tournament has just been his creativity. I see so many teams with their build-out phase, their game model, and sometimes you need someone to go off script there and just show a moment of magic. And how about that from Ryland Hashimoto? Fantastic little step over. Great finish to put RSL up here.
Tire. Hashimoto comes back. Mihov. Tire angles it forward. Hashimoto again. Tire spins it through the middle. Martin. This ball rolled through. Parker holds it up. Parker finds an angle. Parker laces! He thunders the threads to make it 2-0 in less than 2 minutes for Real Salt Lake.
My goodness. Incredible scenes here at GA Cup, and all the talk coming into the match was on the Galaxy and their 5-0 win, and it's been anything but the complete other direction, with Salt Lake picking and probing, finding this interior space. Martin plays it across to Martinez. Then he finds that pocket. How about this from 9 play to turn and twist around Ramirez, pick his head up. It's in that hole. It's very difficult to maneuver your way around that, but turns and twists, picks out the corner in the back of the net there. And how about this for a little backflip from Van Parker? We've seen that a few times this tournament, but what a dream start here for RSL, up 2-0.
Van Parker's second goal of the tournament had the clincher in the quarterfinal against Charlotte. And he gets an early assist for Hashimoto. Now he gets the goal in a 2-0 advantage. Largest deficit of the tournament for a Galaxy side that had trailed for just 7 minutes in this tournament.
Yeah, but you could feel the emotional swing coming when Hashimoto got the goal, and see that carry through with the confidence of Salt Lake players and Van Parker not to just settle. And it's far too easy from a Galaxy perspective to allow him that much time and space right at the top of the box. Should never be able to turn in that position and allow him. I think that's partly the confidence part, where you're on the back foot and he's thinking positive. Excellent turn, great start for RSL.
It's a storybook beginning to this final. Now Salt Lake haven't trailed at all in this tournament. Haven't necessarily seen this team score a bunch of goals at times. They have 2 1-0 wins, but this is the 3rd straight game they've scored twice, winning the quarterfinal against Charlotte 2-0 and then against Genk 2-0 as well. Martinez gets shoved to the surface, and it will be a foul. on the Galaxy.
Salt Lake have not conceded a goal throughout the run of play, throughout the entire tournament. And this is where the confidence, the patience, maybe a little bit of a different wrinkle here where they have to keep more possession. I've seen them be able to do that to good effect. And they can use Martin and Martinez in that midfield as those twin six. I spoke to Jordan Allen, the U16 head coach here, ex-RSL man himself. He's called them basically two tens playing as twin sixes. How they use them in possession will be important.
And they go through the middle of the field again. Martin with choices, lays it off. Anders Tire slings this all the way across the field. He had some space in front of him, but doesn't reach anybody as Edwin Rios Jr. takes over.
See over on the flank here, Hornung just electing to go back. That's the patience that Salt Lake are going to need as they keep possession. It's a hot day. Mention the number of matches. They have the emotional swing now behind them. Confidence from not conceding throughout this tournament. And from the back, that back three specifically, have to be patient in the build out. And good play there from Hornung.
Over the top of everybody here. And this one rolls all the way down and out. And we talked about it. Medina, Steelman, they are both on the bench to start this game. Down 2-0 here. 35-minute halves. If you're JP Mojica, does that change your thought process of when you can bring those guys in?
Yes, absolutely. I would expect them at the latest at the half. And the way this game has gone, I think part of it also is for the personality. They're missing their captain, Eddie Chadwick. It's been a big piece of that. And the confidence of having your top striker with Medina, Steelman, players that can make the difference. We've seen them come up in clutch moments. It's definitely a way back for the Galaxy, but have to find a bit of a foothold and some personality to show their resilience.
Nico Silva's cross in here for Nelson. Well, Medina and Steelman are both getting loose on the touchline to our left right now. But it's the attacking prowess of Hashimoto and Parker that have set the stage here in this U16 final. 2-0 for RSL. Long ball down the field. This ricochets and now rolls out to get it. Kiazis makes himself big to turn away Mondragon. Parker hits the deck, pops back up first, and cannot shake. Good build here for the Galaxy. This ball thrown through. It hits a body on the ricochet. Flag goes up for offside. Mondragon off after the deflection.
Yeah, but that's the ball the Galaxy want to exploit from Cunningham. Just into that half space for Martinez, tucking inside. The final run there for Mondragon is not quite there. We've seen him stretching in behind. Scored 3 goals in the tournament, but looking more for direct play and instead of coming back for more combination play. But I like that ball there from Cunningham, who's been really good for the Galaxy all tournament. They need to continue to use him in that build-out phase and allow him to play forward.
There was a look at that trio getting ready for LA Galaxy. Question will be, will they be used before halftime? These two teams met twice in the regular season. It was 6-0 combined between LA Galaxy and Real Salt Lake, with the Galaxy winning both matches. Mondragon bodies and commits the foul as he was able to poke that ball around, but the foul is whistled to nullify that chance.
This is the ball they want forward, to go back to Cunningham, and then that little ball forward to Villatoro. That allows them to then start to find some combination plays. So that first touch doesn't quite come right for Mondragon. He continues to battle. He ends up fouling, but that's the pattern of play that the Galaxy are looking for. To continue to go to it.
A collision and a foul, and the Galaxy get a free kick.
It's going to be competitive. It's a lovely little lifted ball in here to Torres, and then just sort of glides around Hortung, clear foul, and sets up dead ball situation. And it's been better for the Galaxy these last few minutes, responding to the goal. They found their foothold, and set pieces are so important. We've seen Medina generally be the biggest threat as far as these knockdowns, but keep an eye on McLean on this back post here.
Menendez slings it in. First header, swipe to the side. Torres uses his body, but never gets a touch as he hits the deck. Right back from Martinez through the middle. Mondragon goes down, appeals for a penalty, and he went down easily in the eyes of our official.
It's a clever little back heel here from Martinez that Cunningham tries to slip through. It's just been that last ball to Mondragon that hasn't quite been there as of yet. The build-up through the midfield has been there for the Galaxy, just missing that final pass to find their way back in this.
22nd minute, Real Salt Lake lead LA Galaxy 2-0. Hashimoto in the 10th, Parker in the 12th are your two goals so far. Michael Wattrain, Kalen Carr, and our team with you here at the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup, game number 2 of 4 today for us here on MLS's YouTube channel. Great to have you with us. Cunningham fires it out wide. Torres pokes it through the sky, and it rolls out. Goal kick.
And the Galaxy just playing out with two, with McLean and Ramirez, pushing their fullbacks high with Torres and Salazar. They bounce it into Cunningham. He's been the main target as far as that build out, and he springs in those flanks. Just hasn't quite come off as far as that quality a little bit. We've seen them really sharp through the build out phase, and wonder at which point the Galaxy are going to look to make a change. 35-minute halves, it's added on, but the way the game has gone, I feel like they need to make a move at some point soon to find their way back in this game.
Real Salt Lake, the 2008 GA Cup champions. Second ever, they needed penalties against DC United to win that. They finished runners-up to DC in 2010 and Stoke City in 2014. LA Galaxy won the GA Cup championship in 2011, 2-0 against FC Dallas, and finished runners-up in penalties in the U17s last year to Philly Union. That ball rolled forward, a shield here. And a clearance. The pressure from Salazar forces a throw. Ramirez lines up Torres. Torres hooks this ball all the way around and out.
Salt Lake have dropped deeper into a mid-block defensively. We've seen them do this a few times throughout the tournament. It makes it so difficult to play through, and the Galaxy have to settle for a hopeful cross from the wide areas. We don't have the runners in the box. It doesn't really fit the profile of this front three right now, and that's where you say you have to have patience to maybe recirculate, to continue to try to mobilize that block of 4 in the back, 4 in front for Salt Lake, and continue to see if you can stick to your game model.
Cunningham lays it off. And this one rolls back. Yazis picks it up. Max Steelman has made his way to the coaching staff, has the uniform on, and appears like he will be the first man coming in. And Aaron Medina has not quite made his way up so far to the top men for LA Galaxy, of course, playing without their captain, Eddie Chadwick. A red card on the final kick of the match yesterday against PSV.
Yeah, and we'll see the change here. I was wondering at what point Mujica was going to pull this move off, and does look like it will be Villatoro coming off and Steelman coming in. Looks like to begin with, at least on this left flank. We've seen him often on the right-hand side of the pitch, but I don't mind the idea of him tucking inside. He can play a number of different positions up top. See him here.
Here is Steelman immediately carving into this. Ramirez out for Torres. 10 minutes to go before halftime. Torres stumbles and loses the ball. And certainly something to keep in mind for everybody. There have been so many games for these players. 6 matches since it started 8 days ago. This match number 7. Steelman heads this along. It gets skimmed off of a boot. Steelman showcases the energy as the sub.
How many have we done, by the way? I got me thinking.
I lost count about 6 days ago.
Forgot what day it was today, but hey, it's a final. You got to be ready for this. And so I think from the player's perspective, you'd be desperate, especially seeing the way the team has conceded, gone down a goal, and saw Hashimoto find his moment of magic. Steelman, to me, is that type of player. It's kind of a maverick type where just drives at you, one-on-one ability. Not quite sure what he's going to do, and Galaxy have missed that so far in this match.
Salazar swings this ball in. Hiazis picks it up. Word from our production truck is this is game 27 in total for the production team. They've done every single one. They told me that this is your 13th.
Okay. They've doubled me, so they're bragging. I like that. That's why they're the best.
Yeah, they've done a great job. They've been dialed in all week long, and they've only had one off day, the MLS Next Pro game on Tuesday. Here, the showcase of that matchup in the Florida Derby, Inter Miami 2 and Orlando City B.
It has been an excellent tournament. I think part of it for me is the intrigue of the international component. We saw PSV and Genk in this last semifinal against both of these teams, and MLS teams have given a great account of themselves. The last 3 years, 5 of the 6 champions across the age divisions have come from MLS, and you can see why here with the quality of play on the pitch. It's been fantastic, and from the development standpoint, for me, it took a while to get to MLS, where I played in CONCACAF Champions Cup, and that's the first time I got exposed to different styles of play, different profiles, game models, players. That's a little bit too late, right? You felt naive at times going to play in Mexico against Liga MX teams or Panama, and here you play against PSV, you play against Santos Laguna, Leicester City, so many different teams, and I think that's a big part of the player development side of it is how do you get through these games? So much talent throughout there. I think of Ezekiel Imaga from PSV, U16 international for the Netherlands. He's only 14 years old. Obama Apia, Dime, Ashabar from Genk, plays for both Holland and the Belgian youth national teams. And even when I was looking at yesterday at the MLS matches and first team play, Benjamin Karaski scores a goal in front of 62,000 in Cleveland for Inter Miami to keep them unbeaten, knock the Crew off the top of the East. And he was here playing at GA Cup just a few years ago, and that's how quickly it can change. And know that's the aspiration of each and every player out here to get an opportunity here to get a close look at each of these players. Well, one day, I'm sure we'll see some of them feature for their first teams and internationally. It's been a real treat. That's not going to say either team is going to be thinking about the big picture today, with still in the first half. About 7 minutes left for the Galaxy to try to find their way back in this game.
Yeah, the stars of tomorrow on display here today in the Generation Adidas Cup. One of those, Steelman, the U.S. Youth National, finds space. Continues on his run all the way across the field. Doesn't get the return from Martinez, who commits the foul.
Yeah, just needs to be a little bit quicker there to have the clear picture as Steelman comes across. But that's what Steelman brings, just a little bit of that driving ability. We see him get down the end line here with some pressure, tucking inside. We've seen him often on the flank on the right, but I like him cutting in on his favored right foot. Once they find that middle space, Martinez looking for the 1-2 or find that pass into the interior.
Keep the ball, keep the ball. Move it.
Georges builds from the back now.
Ready, Ben? Efficient Anders.
Tire was looking for Parker. It gets headed back where Martinez awaits. Hornung nearly falls down. And then it's a foul. And will it be a booking here as well? Indeed, does look like it will be. The card is out. And it will be a booking.
Yeah, just a little late to recognize the pressing trigger when the ball goes back over the head and the defender turns. That's your cue. And the first touch is also long there. And it just seemed like a slight hesitation from Rios Jr. Those are the opportunities you have to seize upon. Down 2 goals. Misplayed ball. Poor first touch. Can be a lifeline back into this match. And just arriving late there.
Just beyond the half-hour mark, Real Salt Lake a 2-0 edge. Hashimoto scored in the 10th minute, and less than 2 minutes later, Van Parker finished on a delightful pass from Martinez in the 12th minute. And it's 2-0 for RSL here in the final, looking to avenge 2 regular season losses in MLS next. Will the Galaxy be able to get one back before halftime? McLean. Menendez. Salazar launches this ball through the middle. It bounces. Chiazis picks it up with Juan Martinez coming in.
Last 3 minutes, Red.
Martinez is going to have to come off the field. Needs a little bit of physical attention as he limps off.
Yeah, but Mojica's not happy because he wants him to stay on the pitch. They're going to have to play a man down now. The rule for 2 minutes, something we've seen implemented at the next pro level and all the way up to MLS. And so wanted to keep him on the pitch. I have to play a mound down here for these last few minutes.
Martin chases through the middle of the field. This ball rolls in. It's Silva touching it. And too heavy on that as it rolls out. And a goal kick for Nelson. Well, we know that we'll see Aaron Medina, but if you're LA Galaxy, you really haven't generated a lot of good goal-scoring chances. How can they do that in half 2?
I think just continuing to play through, and Salt Lake have done a good job. You have to give them credit. They've shut down that midfield. They've got a box midfield with 2 wingers tucked inside with Silva and Hashimoto, and then just behind them with Martin and Martinez. It's made it difficult to find space. That's why we're able to see the Galaxy a few times with Cunningham finding that little slip ball into their attacking options, but Salt Lake have adjusted, closed down that space for them. So I think just getting a little bit more through the midfield and then out to the wingers. That's where you have the runners now with Steelman in the match, and expect to see Medina coming in. I would expect at half.
He's been warming up since about the quarter-hour mark of this match.
It's always a difficult debate of, do you start them and then maybe have to bring them off, or do you leave them on and trust that you're going to have your substitutes going from the start with more energy to give you a good entry point into the match. And of course, now it's easy to second guess and look back and say, well, yeah, maybe we could have gone with these guys to begin with. But in credit to Salt Lake, they have certainly been the protagonists.
And also fair to the point of the, you have to trust the player. The player might have sat there and said, hey, I need to go in the second half. I could use a little bit of extra rest to get ready for the finish line.
Great tackle.
And a shove from Parker.
Yeah, Cunningham has had a very strong tournament. He's caught my eye throughout the group stage and the knockouts, just doing a lot of the little things, that dirty work to win tackles, to play positive, and his rest defense positioning very intelligent.
3 minutes of stoppage time here in the first half. Steelman lays it back. It gets clipped up top. Martinez uncorks a shot high.
Yeah, that's better from the Galaxy. That's what they want to look for, the little 1-2s. Salazar pushing forward from the left back position, combining with his winger, finding it across. Maybe one more pass was available here, but really like the combination play. It's more dynamic. You can see the space now opening up. Maybe one more pass looking towards the flank from Martinez. That patience to drag Salt Lake side to side and not let them get set.
Forward. Okay, coming down. Last little bit, Red. Make it Hunter. Come on, Nico Van. Good, yep. Just recover.
McLean.
90 seconds, Van. Keep there, Nico.
Cycles it wide. Torres. Rios Jr. dances. Rios Jr. spins it in, but it angles, and Chiazis knocks it away. So a corner kick here for the Galaxy in the waning moments of half one.
Yeah, and you can see them committing numbers forward. A big opportunity here. Find their way just before halftime could be a huge emotional lift. See bringing 2 numbers forward here. Potential to play short. Keep an eye on Cunningham. They've often used him as a third-man runner.
Menendez plays short. Martinez. There is Cunningham. Cunningham skies this ball over everybody and out.
It's a good idea here. They try to drag you in with too tight and drop it back for Cunningham. He has the option at that point whether he wants to have a go of it or he's trying to shape this towards the back post. It's difficult because the pass is just a little bit behind him, and those are the small details that don't allow you to take it easily on that first time and keep the timing with the runners.
Silva tracks this ball down. Silva with space. Silva crosses. Parker angles Hashimoto with an empty cage. Tracks it down over towards the corner. Lays it back. Tire. Hashimoto. Hashimoto directs. Throws it through. It's Martin with 2 defenders on. Tire loops this ball in. McLean heads into the air. Martin back on it. Tire fires this ball through again. McLean is there, and that is our first half whistle. And a storybook beginning to this U16 final for Real Salt Lake. 2 early goals from their 2 stars of this tournament, and LA Galaxy trail by a 2-0 scoreline here at half.
Yeah, really good stuff from Salt Lake, coming out with the right intention and using Hashimoto in behind, and the little step over, I keep going back to it, but presence of mind in a final to pull that off. Excellent little play there to get them on top of it, and then Van Parker, but really good stuff from Jordan Allen's side. Galaxy need to make some changes and come out with renewed energy in the second half.
Real Salt Lake 35 minutes away from a championship. Lead 2-0 at the break. We'll step out for one as well. More to come from Bradenton, Florida in a moment.
Well, the first spot of the U18 championship has been claimed at the Generation Adidas Cup. Colorado Rapids ending Atlanta United's magical penalty kick run. They take it in 7 rounds in the shootout. A lot of drama before we got there. AJ Ricketts, Katie Goodman. 5 of Colorado's first 6 shots came in the first half. They were aggressive in the early going, but never put a shot on goal.
Super aggressive, intentional in the attack. As you can see there, another great placement in. Close call, time after time for Colorado, just not able to put it away. And then one of the better opportunities from Atlanta, this beautiful turn from Vincetti. It hits the post. Stark saved by the post there, but really and truly the best opportunity of the entire game there was off the foot of Vincetti.
And nearly finally unlocked this Colorado defense, who has still yet to give up a goal. Atlanta had some probing moments in the final 10 minutes, but could not find the net. The penalties we go. Simpson started with a miss. Atlanta had a chance to gain some early momentum. Vicente, who nearly had the goal in the run of play after the Simpson miss, denied by Starks on the other side. There was a lot of back and forths here in this shootout.
So many back and forths. Got to hand it to the keepers for everything that they have been through and all the work that they've done to deny these opportunities. But unfortunately there for Jonathan Ransom, they made him do it again. He came off the line too soon, and then Colorado able to put it away on that redemption shot.
Second time's the charm there, so still the drama continues. Braden Dunham stepped to the spot. Crossbar says no. A couple of misses here throughout the first 5 rounds, so then a chance for Ransom and company to make a big save yet again, and that's exactly what he does. Diving to his right, he's made 4 saves through 3 rounds of the knockouts, but then the pitch starts to become a problem there. Look at this divot. Caused some consternation from the Colorado coaching staff. They wanted to switch sides, so they said, no, we need to at least take 1 more kick here from this spot before we go to the other end. That's exactly what they did.
Able
and that did finish on the opposite side.
Yeah, able to convert there. It's not often you see the PK spot looking like a pitching green, but take it to the other side. Colorado's able to put it away, but it's the game winner here. And it's a save from Kendall Starks, denying it with his foot. Absolute acrobatics. And a dog pile to follow.
High drama. Colorado Rapids advances off the kick save. They take down Atlanta 5-4 in penalties. On to the U18 final. The semifinals are complete. Spots in the championship game have been clinched. Orlando City moving on to the final. 3-0 in a dominating performance over Santos Laguna. AJ Ricketts, Katie Goodman took less than 30 seconds today to find their first goal after it was less than 90 seconds yesterday, and Justin Ellis doing what he does.
I mean, Santos Laguna doing their best to close that down, but Ellis doing what he does best, continuing that run, puts it away. And again, it's just why you can't give him any space. You've got to track Justin Ellis because he's creative, he keeps going, he's relentless.
Orlando City supporters really excited to see what he may become in the next couple of years. They have their eye on him, and he continues to produce, continues to celebrate. If this one had gone in, things may have played out a little bit differently.
It would have been a game-changing goal, no doubt. It would have been the energy that Santos Laguna needed, but instead it was near miss after near miss, near pass after near missed pass. Unfortunate for them.
Orlando saw some of the same there off the crossbar. Just moments later, the game opened up a little bit in the first half. Eventually had 11 combined shots between the two teams. Penalties played their role in this game.
That they did, and allowed Orlando's momentum to keep going. Carvalho just hitting the post in behind the keep guessed the right direction. He was within the vicinity, but you're not going to beat that pace. And then once again, another foul in the box. Made Santos Laguna pay. Is our Golden Boot winner, Justin Ellis, our Golden Boot leader.
Number 9 on Orlando has 6 goals in the tournament. The U18s and their U16 counterparts celebrate. Supporters of the purple and gold real proud right now. They're on to the final.
Got everybody? We're ready.
just being able to host it at these big facilities, it's great for parents to be able to come and watch.
I'm playing for my family mostly because I'm originally from Wisconsin and they moved 7 hours just for me. So I feel like that I have to do it for them because I can't just let them down.
1, 2, 3.
It's not just a sport, it's not just something you go out and do, it's something that bonds people together, and it can change a person's life. It can really take them places they may never imagine to go.
I mean, it's really nice when the U15 younger kids come to support us. It's like they're really looking up to you guys, so it's like you have to perform, have people behind you pushing you.
Great cross, keeper! Great cross!
Watching the older kids play, it just brings our bond together because they see us watching and they know that we're supporting them at all times, and it just kind of brings us closer.
They have some songs about us for like the ultra songs. We have like a tradition, every time someone scores, you have to get the water bottle, spray on everybody. So I think it also just motivates us, like we have to keep going, get another goal. It's really a great feeling to just celebrate together.
One of the biggest things is just teaching them how to be a contributing member of society. They're not just a soccer player to us, they're also a person, they're great people, great humans, and that's part of our job.
There's a lot of emotion when you see a player succeed.
Yeah, I know I'm really attractive. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
You ready? MLS is game on. Dochi? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends? On. Rivalries on.
Versus New York City.
MLS, this is our soccer. Game on.
And we're welcoming you back here to IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. It's a good LA Galaxy contingent, and they want to see their team surge back in half number 2. Trailing Real Salt Lake in the U16 final. 2-0. Michael Watran, Kalen Carr back with you. And it's the hold-up play of Van Parker here in the 10th minute that sets up Hashimoto.
Yeah, and the Galaxy have to push numbers forward to go after him. But how about this in a final from Hashimoto? Looks like he's playing in the backyard. Just so clever here, so composed, keeps his head up the whole time. A clever little step over. Just brilliant finish there. That's the confidence that started coursing through this Salt Lake side from the opening whistle. And there you can see the Galaxy getting a little bit stretched. It's good, patient passing into Martinez, and then find that interior pass to Van Parker. It's just far too easy to turn. But excellent take there from Parker, just operating in a little bit of a phone booth and picking the lock, finding his way out, and ultimately picking his head up. Galaxy picking it out of the back of the net. Now 2-0 here, and what a backflip.
Both of those goals coming in the first 12 minutes of the game. And it is RSL 35 minutes away from hoisting its second ever GA Cup trophy, coming here in the U16s. And there will be 2 changes for LA Galaxy. It will be Aaron Medina, 4 goals in the tournament, second most out of this age group coming in. Victor Garcia also coming in for LA Galaxy. And what kind of adjustments do you imagine seeing here from the Galaxy in half 2?
I think the big one is bringing in Medina up top. Just that final pass has been off, that final touch, and more than anything for me, it's his intelligence. He just sees the game really well. He understands how to move in the box, when to go to the near post, when to goes to the back, and personality as well. We've gotten a chance to know him a little bit throughout this tournament. He pulled us aside after one of the matches and said, hey, who got man of the match? And we gave it to Steelman, who was excellent. And the next game, he came back and scored 2 goals against PSV, one in the last second. Ended up being the winner, and I just love that personality from him. And the Galaxy right now, they need that personality. They need a little bit of that selfish streak from that 9 position, and that bit of quality, I imagine that he'll provide that.
So second half, ready to ignite here. Which team will add a trophy to the case from Generation Adidas Cup? LA Galaxy and the White Kits started off with possession. It's the red and blues for Real Salt Lake. And second half action underway here in the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. The growth of the tournament continues to see MLS sides get better and better. It's an all MLS final in both the U16s and the U18s. Shimoto and Parker 2 minutes apart with the goals in this one. Cunningham is one of the 2 that came out. And Rios Jr. is the other man that comes off the field for LA Galaxy.
Yeah, interesting look to begin with, at least with Steelman moving to the right. Where we've seen him through most of the tournament. I think that's where he's at his best. Missed touch from him, facing away from goal. They want to try to find him faced up, and looks like they're going to keep Mondragon as that 9, with Medina sliding in on that left flank. I imagine he'll tuck in a natural right-footed player. At times it might look like 2 up top. A little bit of a different wrinkle here, and definitely some new weapons up top for that front 3 for the Galaxy and Medina.
It's been 283 minutes since the last goal conceded by Real Salt Lake. None in the run of play. Parker chases after this. Silva's the only man inside of the box. This cross comes all the way out. We're waiting for it is Peralta. Peralta uncorks, and it's gobbled up by Nelson.
Gotta be willing to step in there, Kai.
What kind of impact have you seen with Eddie Chadwick not playing in this game?
I think some of it, as far as that left-hand side, pushing forward, he's so sound defensively, and really just that matchup as well against Hashimoto. Seen Chadwick go against some of the best players in this tournament. Obama Appiah from PSV ended up drawing the red card on him. I thought it was a difficult call to take, but that's part of development here. Is smart foul from Chadwick, had to make it. It's a clear foul just outside the box, ends up seeing them through in these dying moments of the match to bring them to the final. But that's the painful part from the player's perspective, is missing out in this moment, and you can see the quality from him. The Galaxy have the depth. They should feel they still have their way back in this, so a lot still to play for them in the second half.
There is an appeals process. They do review every call during MLS Next. They did look at it and judge that the red card on the field was justified. So Chadwick not playing here for the final. The LA Galaxy captain and a youth national with both the U.S. and England. Peralta avoids 2 defenders, eventually runs into a block.
Hunter, I want you going forward, Hunter.
Yeah, it was a difficult one, too, because it was not called through the run of play, and it was the 4th official that spotted it, and the foul was called, but not the red card. And so that was the difficult part for me, as it looked to me as there was a second man close by with McFarland, and Appiah had yet to take that strike on goal. So a difficult one to take if you're Chadwick.
Peralta, the last man to touch here. This is what they have been so good at, defending, holding on to possession, taking the air out of the ball. And an LA Galaxy team that was free-flowing against PSV has not quite been able to gather the same kind of possession in this game.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Michael. And that's partly due to the fact that the way that Salt Lake play, they just condense space. These first 5 minutes were so important for the Galaxy to try to find their way back in it. And I could hear Jordan Allen at halftime highlighting these first 5 to his guys to say, hey, we have to be dialed in. And credit to him as a manager. I really think it's his 4th GA Cup now, and got the best out of this group. It's been, so far, a really, really strong tournament.
Steelman runs into 3 different defenders. The path for RSL in the knockout stage is 1-0 over FC Tokyo, 2-0 over Charlotte, 2-0 against Genk. Galaxy on the other side, round of 16, 3-0 against Nashville. They needed penalties after a 0-0 draw against Montreal to advance to the semifinal, and a 59th minute goal from Medina in the semifinal made it 3-2 for the winner against PSV. And here is Medina, 4 goals in the tournament, loses possession. Parker, this is where he excels. Hold up play, and then the ability to dribble. Peralta. Silva turns. Silva crosses. Parker's the target. Doesn't reach him. Right back out as it rolls. Here's a whip of a shot from Javier Martinez that hits the crossbar.
My goodness, that did not miss by much. Kissing off the crossbar there, and it's an excellent read from Martinez, who scored in the semifinal and jumps the lane. And then how about that for a strike with the left foot? Mexico Youth International just absolutely crushes that. Kisses off the crossbar there.
Medina carries this ball himself now. Medina arcs it around, splitting defenders. Steelman hunts. Steelman does get there in time. Fires it across. It's over everybody as it winds up on the foot of Tyre.
Yeah, but that's a window, a peek into what Medina can provide. We often see him playing more as the 9 on the end of these, and this time dropping a little bit deep, but I knew he was going to tuck inside on that right foot. Able to beat his man. Looking for that ball in behind to Steelman. Really good pattern there for the Galaxy.
Kiazis plays from the back. Galaxy so good at pressuring. Medina pokes at it, asks for a corner, doesn't receive it.
Yeah, the Galaxy have to step their line of confrontation to see if they can take advantage, and it goes to those backs. It's the best time to try to press there. Mihoff, slight misstep there, and that's why they have to use these twin 6s. Martin and Martinez are so important for Jordan Allen, for RSL to keep possession.
So many times in this tournament, this has been the position for Real Salt Lake, playing with an advantage. They have not trailed at any point, and opponents finding it very difficult to get back into these games.
And the hard part too is once you press numbers forward, they're so good in transition. They go so quickly. Salt Lake do, and one pass breaks the pressure, and then it's usually that second runner. We saw that exact pattern happen with Van Parker on that ball through to Hashimoto, and now with the Galaxy having to commit more, it might leave them a little bit more exposed in the pass in the back, but it's a chance they have to take at this point in the match.
Martinez. Garcia. Medina. Steelman's here. Steelman draws the attention of 2 defenders. Juggles, comes back out. Garcia. Torres has it bang off of a boot, but Kiazis has been just brilliant in this tournament.
It's also excellent defensive work there from Nico Silva. It's just been tireless working defensively, playing underneath Van Parker, but comes back all tournament, does the dirty work.
Peralta evades Torres. Peralta splits the seam, lays it up top. Martinez. Martinez back on it.
Keep moving it.
Peralta. Martin. Here's this long distance attempt. What a shot that is. Rylan Hashimoto bangs another one in, and it's 3 for RSL.
This play starts on the other end with Peralta. Clever little nutmeg to open up space, and then they change the point of attack all the way to this right side through Tyre, cuts it back. But once it eventually circulates, Hashimoto in this half space here, that's where he could be so deadly. And how about that? It's an absolute ridiculous strike. Goes inside and out, tails into the top corner. You can see the U18 team here celebrating as a supporters group today. Hashimoto has continually got crowds off his feet all tournament, and what a time to pull out the range of his skills with the dribble on the first one and then a top corner on the next.
Hashimoto now with 5 goals, matches Obama Apia from PSV for the tournament lead in the U16s. Silva has this ball taken off of his feet by Victor Garcia.
And Rylan Hashimoto hasn't been with Salt Lake long. He's only been here a year, was with Sac Republic in Northern California, and been a great addition. He's been their leading scorer throughout the whole season and saved some of his best stuff for last in the final, no less. But just the audacity to continue to try these things, you don't see that much from young players. To pull up from distance, the creativity, the quality, and the technique more than anything, and made me think a little bit of another Northern California product for RSL, Diego Luna, as far as the personality at least. And RSL, spoke to Tony Beltran before the match, their technical director, just continuing to find some gems. Get the best of them.
Here's Medina. Medina takes a tumble. It's Torres arcing this ball back post. Steelman was the target. Medina's still down. Another ball flies in. Kiazi's catches. And now the whistle comes with Medina down.
This was an earlier run here from Medina, and it's a clear foul. It's not called on that play. Advantage played on maybe, but you see a number of changes coming across for the Galaxy, having to push the game here, and a little bit shell-shocked after conceding that third goal from Hashimoto. Hard to blame him.
I see Cristobal, Christopher Perez and Boston St. Clair all come in. Torres, Martinez, and Mondragon all come out. Well, there's not much time, but there is a little bit more with these matches going 70 minutes instead of the 60. So roughly 22 more minutes to play in this one. And LA Galaxy in desperate need of a goal.
Take your position. Into our spots. Come out. Show up, show up, show up. Come across, guys, just in case.
Kiazi's. Parker gets shoved in the back. McLean commits the foul.
Yeah, but it's just so nice to have that option. If you're Salt Lake, you can see they like to play through these two, through the middle, and you have that striker to be able to play direct.
Okay, come across, come across.
Either win you the ball or win a foul, keep possession, allow you to take a breath, push up. Really important.
Not over your head, Nico. Not over your head, Nico.
A little confusion here from the Galaxy with the changes they've made, and that's part of the risk of having to shift the energy. Is that continuity is a little bit lacking. It looks like Medina has now moved more into the 9 position with Mondragon coming out of the game, so I like that as far as getting your best finisher closer to the goal and instead of facing up on the flank.
Peralta lays this ball forward. It is Silva. Silva slings this across. It falls over. It is Hashimoto laying it down the line. Tire crosses. Nelson erases. Hashimoto again has it taken away. Steelman. This is where he can be at his best. Steelman cuts it through the middle. Steelman lays it all the way across. On the bobble, right back. Steelman has it escape his left boot.
Good feet there from Rowan Martin. It's been another really strong performance from him, playing in that 6th position. Really, the setup from Salt Lake has been impressive, playing 3 in the back, continuing to build out, using those wing backs. Peralta's been really strong. That box midfield, 2 10s in front, and then 2 really skillful midfielders behind them. And it's actually that 5-0 loss earlier in the season to the Galaxy where they shift to 5 in the back in the second half, and that was to be defensively sound. And then they've stuck with it and played it for the rest of the season. We see it now in the tournament. Just been fantastic defensively and exploring the width. Been really good so far today and been dominant. 3 goals. I think that's been actually a fair scoreline so far for the way this match has gone, and full credit to them.
We talked about LA Galaxy with the changes that they made in the starting 11. No Eddie Chadwick.
Let's go.
How much is this LA Galaxy never really being able to find a rhythm in this game with the lineup patterns that they have versus the credit that you have to give RSL?
I lean more towards giving the credit to RSL. Just by the way they started this match. You know, both teams have played the same amount of games. They've had the same path, so it's hard to look too much. I guess Chadwick would be the one piece that you'd look at and say, oh, that's a piece that they're missing, and it makes it more difficult, of course. But I really think that this has really been much more a story about how good RSL have been, and we've seen it not just in this match. It's been consistent throughout this tournament.
And outscored their opponents 13-1 in this tournament. Medina leaps, cannot make contact. Steelman tries to slide through, unable to do so. Silva trying to hold it up, unable to do so. Now chases Cristobal.
Yeah, that's excellent, though. That's just excellent work there from Silva. But this is your 10. And for me, when you have your best players who are also your hardest workers and coming from attacking positions, it's so rare. And that speaks to the buy-in from the manager, the way they've continued to really do some of the dirty work. They get out in transition and just been really connected throughout this match. And really well deserved why they're in this position.
They're all willing to put in the hard work. Van Parker has done so many times. The team's leading goal scorer, Rylan Parker, has done great work defensively. Medina knuckles a ball. Kiazis knocks it away. Here is Parker trying to get there. McLean draws the foul.
Nice jumping out. You and Javi. If you do, tell them to go. Ready?
Off of the free kick. Steelman chases after it. He is able to hold on to it, though. Steelman works along the touchline. Runs into a defender. No foul. It's a goal kick.
It's good feet there from Steelman, though. The wind has played a factor throughout the tournament where the ball gets hung up a little bit and just sort of a tightrope act on the sideline. Not enough for a penalty, but just like that. Goes direct at players. It's a little bit different than we see from that position, but goes after one. For the second, him and Medina coming in. I think you've seen a raise in quality since their entrance.
Galaxy had given up 3 total goals in the tournament in their first 6 matches. They've given up 3 in this game. Hashimoto started in the 10th minute. Parker added 1 more in the 12th. And in the 45th minute, Hashimoto added a 3rd. And RSL looking for its 2nd GA Cup championship. Out in front, 3-0 with about 15 more minutes to play. Michael Watring, former MLS striker, Kalen Carr, and the rest of our team with you here at the Generation Adidas Cup with Real Salt Lake trying to close this one out against an LA Galaxy team that they lost 1-0 and 5-0 to. That 5-0 match was roughly a month ago to the day. Nico Silva is coming off, and Andreo Gajic is the man that comes on.
Focus, Red. Andreo, a little bit lower, Andreo. Close to 50. Good, yep, and out to this one, Andreo. Good, yep, keep working, keep working.
Steelman turns his body around. Steelman lays it back. Menendez curls this ball in. Medina tries to rescue it as that ball just had a little too much hook on it as it goes out.
Hey, keep going, Red. Don't let the enemy go. Come on, 15. 15. Down here, Andreo.
Parker corrals. Van Parker dashes past defenders. Parker is in. Parker laces this ball through. It's a 4th. Parker with a brace. RSL lead 4-0.
This is just off a goal kick. It's a direct ball. I mentioned a nice outlet to have, but he continues to bring balls down that he just shouldn't. And that's one that you had, and Van Parker's just been excellent. And once he gets it, it's a one-track mind going directly at that back line. He continues to just push, and once he gets in that position, just hits it hard and low across. And it's been a fantastic performance from Van Parker, opening this match with the ball in behind, but consistently his hold-up play and then not settling for that, getting a bit greedy, adding to his tally. Now 4-0 for Salt Lake, giving the Galaxy a taste of their own medicine from that 5-0 loss they suffered, and what an occasion to do it.
Steelman crushes this ball along, and it's sent back out towards the middle of the field. I think it is a fair question to ask, though. You look at that PSV match yesterday. We were really impressed by the Netherlands side, and that was a back-and-forth affair. LA Galaxy had to give everything that they had just to be able to get through that. Medina winning it in the 59th minute. They led 3 different times to pull off a 3-2 win, and you have to wonder if there's a little bit of a hangover from that match into today.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think that is also a part of what GA Cup provides from the mental component, where, look, you're away from home for 10 days, you're across the country, you're in a hotel. These are the dynamics that you're going to face when you get to MLS and to first teams, and you have to travel long trips, or you're playing in different environments, and that's a part of it. And I think the ability to get up and go again is a really difficult thing to do from the physical side of it, but also in tournament play. Great feat here from Rowan Martin. Once again, just been excellent throughout, but this RSL team have had the same challenges, and we've seen their best.
I think it's a fair point as well that you make, because when you do get to that pro side, you have to learn how to recover when you're on the road, when you're in a hotel, when you're outside of the environment that you typically go through. And like you mentioned, I mean, these teams are all the way across the country. You have time zone differences. You're living in a hotel, trying to develop that routine that you don't normally get by being on your own bed.
Trust me, I'm living that right now here for 10 days. The Orlando City U18s are on my floor. There is a line of ice baths in the hallway every day at the tournament. I am passing them. I am not stopping. I don't want to tell you what the floor smells like. I tried to switch rooms if at all possible, but I was like, oh, wait, this smells like a soccer tournament. But that's a component of it. And that brotherhood, that camaraderie, we see the RSL 18s watching this team play, celebrating. They become the supporters group. We'll see right after this, the U18s playing. Colorado Rapids 16s were chanting, had songs, were taunting a little bit, having some fun with some of the haircuts from the Atlanta United side when it went to penalty kicks. And these are memories that these guys are going to remember for the rest of their lives. You know, we'll see who can emerge. There's a lot that can always change for me. I try not to get too caught up in, hey, this guy's ranked here and he's played in this many next pro minutes. It's a long journey. And some of the players here that are not having their best moment or day to day will be some players that might surprise us and end up going to. I saw Chris Wondolowski, my club soccer teammate I grew up on. We would have dreamed to play in a tournament like this, but neither of us were heralded at the time. Both went on to have long careers in MLS, and Wando, his record speaks for itself as far as putting the ball in the back of the net, the most in MLS history, and I don't know if anybody's going to catch him. But just a good reminder, you know, to see the way that this game has developed, this league has developed, and the investment that's coming in, and it's just been a fantastic experience.
This ball over the top, Cristobal flares this in. I think you do bring up a really great point there. Is so often, particularly today with social media, you can get caught up in the ranking system. You can get caught up on who's getting a lot of attention. But there has to be that component of everybody develops differently. I mean, we're looking at the U16s here. There are some kids that don't develop until they're 17 or 18, that don't really hit their growth spurt until that point, and they can definitely become a different player at that juncture. And there are probably a lot of kids watching at home that are hoping that one day they get an opportunity to wear one of these kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking to a number of scouts throughout the week, a lot of them my former teammates, and now with the U.S. Youth National Team system, that set up. Nice little turn here.
Gaik taps this ball around, and it hugs the chalk before it rolls out.
Salt Lake wanting that fifth for equal measure. And I think that's a part of it, too, is how do you respond to adversity? That's usually the thing for me that will determine if you're going to make it. That'd be the number one thing, actually, that I would highlight. See the quality. All these players have excellent technique. Some nice moments here down this sideline. A good chance there from Salt Lake, but it's that adversity component. I think of Chris Wondolowski when I think of that. Even when you get to the pros, it's not going to be easy. You get that contract, you reach your dream, then it's the next thing. And I think of a Diego Luna, right? A guy that hasn't had it easy, didn't take the conventional path to making it, and now is getting a bigger piece of the pie, star for his team, and Mauricio Pochettino rightly bringing him more into the national team. We'll see if he moves on at some point to Europe as well. And I think it's really players that have faced disappointment for the Galaxy team. How do you respond to this? You lose in a final. You don't give your best account of yourself. How does that make you a better player? We saw that from Salt Lake. They lost a month ago, 5-0. We see the response today. So I think there's a lot still as far as the development part of it, but it's going to be a bitter pill for the Galaxy to swallow today.
Less than 10 minutes to play. Real Salt Lake have been in control since the 10th minute. Hashimoto scoring the opener in the 10th. 2 minutes later, Van Parker added it, 2-0 at halftime. And then the roles stayed the same. 45th minute, Hashimoto a goal. Parker in the 56th minute off of a goal kick. And now Real Salt Lake sensing a championship. Gaik as it swept away, and that one rolls out for a throw. And at this point, the question will be, is there a fifth to flip the script from a month ago when these two teams met in the MLS next regular season? Parker.
Alive here! Alive!
We've very much seen an RSL team as well that understands their roles, and that's very difficult to have when you're at this young age. to do this, to understand the role that you have. Parker, yes, he scored some goals here in the last couple matches, but hadn't scored in the group stage. And he very much understands where his spot is on the field, and he's done a great job with that and understanding the goals will eventually come.
Yeah, and I think even just when you look at the patience of this team, the ability to play the game as it comes to them. I've seen a few times them have to defend deep, and they step out, are able to hit in transition, keeping possession more in this phase. And that just speaks to me that of a well-coached team. And this tournament's about developing players too, but there's a lot of talented coaches that are making a name for themselves, and it's well deserved to mention Jordan Allen, the XRSL player, and better to speak to these young guys who about their path, how they want to make their way to the first team than someone who's done it, who's been in their shoes and can relate. So it's been done a really good job for him this tournament, and a name to watch for sure moving forward in the coaching ranks.
Well, the only thing left, seemingly, for RSL, if they can get through this, would be a 5th consecutive clean sheet and hit 318 minutes scoreless defensively. But Galaxy looking to change that in the final 5. A tackle. Well timed there from Royce Mihov.
Yeah, it's a good driving run forward here, and Mihov had to get that one right. Every time you go to ground in the box, timing is very good here. But the Galaxy have continued to fight, continue to push. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see them letting off, and had to be a little bit more resolute defensively to not allow things to get any worse at this point. Just a bit of pragmatism coming in, but they'll look for their opportunities.
Into the box this goes. It skims off of the head of Daniel Ramirez and gets cleared out to midfield.
Last 5, Brent. Last 5. Let's go, let's go. Last 5. Seconds. Cover, Hunter.
That ball bounces around Medina. Medina pokes this up top, rolling it in. This ball clipped on. Kiazis one pause away.
Oh, what a save there. Excellent little combination play from the Galaxy. Dina recirculates it. It's patient in that little soft spot, and it's a quick release, but that right hand coming across from Kiazis makes the save.
Galaxy looking to get something here in the 67th minute with their best pressure of the day. McLean pushing around, watches this ball sail over his head. Flared right back inside of the 18, off of a skip. Kiazis is there. I think one of the most challenging things too, for a keeper, particularly for Kiazis, he hasn't really been tested that much in this tournament the last few games. And you get spells like these, you have to be at the top of your game.
Yeah, he stepped up when they needed him, and shows good mobility to get to that right side and make that save.
Over the top tire is offside. Real Salt Lake are going to make another change here. It's going to be Renan Magsino, who has already seen some action with the Puerto Rican U17s at 15 years of age, replaces Peralta.
Focus, Renan. Back down, row. Coming down.
And we see the Galaxy continuing to play, and I've really enjoyed watching them throughout this tournament. From the U16 as well as the U18 level, JP Mujica has done a really good job with this group. Sean Chakiris manager for the U18 side, and Tyson Wall, academy directors, and gotten to see Mike Munoz, the director of methodology, and it's really the style of play that you see from the Galaxy. It mirrors a lot of what you see from the first team and hasn't quite taken shape today, but throughout the tournament, they've been one of the better academies to watch. You know what you're going to see when you go see the Galaxy play, and Salt Lake as well. The 18s did quite well in this tournament as well. And really good, so much talent in Los Angeles, that area. Interesting to see if we continue to see these teams develop and who can make it to the first team.
Parker brings it in. Parker shoots, and Nelson has another stop.
Van Parker! Van Parker!
Yeah, Parker, once again, just using the chest. It's a good close there in the end from Nelson to come out and close that angle, but now see Parker coming off to a well-deserved ovation from his fellow RSL Academy members and friends and family here in attendance. Yeah, really, really strong day for him.
A brace and 3 goals for Parker in the final 3 matches of this tournament. Also add an assist in this one, and it's Easton Wilson that picks him up here with 2 minutes of stoppage time. So a chance to close the book on this title for Real Salt Lake, and the drought will be over. They won the 2008 GA Cup championship, the 2nd year ever of the tournament. Needed penalties to win that one. This will be a little bit more decisive.
Back down on goal!
Stay tuned after the match. We'll have the awards ceremony as well as the crowning of all of the individual awards for this tournament. Wilson provides the pressure as it goes back. Nelson, and he recycles Hashimoto in and around the area. Gayak dribbles, gets inside of the 18. Gayak cuts this across. It gets bobbled. Wilson had a piece. Comes back out. It's Rowan Martin. And there's a little bit of a touch there from Martin's hand. Stay tuned after the match as well. We'll speak with Rylan Hashimoto with his brace today. And a U16 leading 5 goals.
And while it will be the attacking play that rightly gets celebrated with Hashimoto and Van Parker both getting on the score sheet, it's really been the play of Rowan Martin and Javier Martinez that have really stood out for me. Just a line underneath.
The final whistle blows, and Real Salt Lake, wire to wire, never trailing in this tournament, capture the U16 championship 4-0 over LA Galaxy.
Hashimoto was saying, "Oh, I'm missing out on the party." Coming across, and this is the scenes that we were talking about, of the camaraderie amongst age groups across the academy, and took everybody throughout the tournament. Had to test the depth. What a performance to pull out in a final. You don't often say you get your best. It's not guaranteed on the biggest day, but boy, did RSL come up with it. 4-0 win over the Galaxy.
Bringing in the ice bath as well for the celebration. In the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup U16 champion, Real Salt Lake, the victors in this one.
Final ice bath.
This one feels great. And for LA Galaxy, what a journey through this tournament. They had one of the games of the tournament against PSV. They outlasted Montreal in penalty kicks, and ultimately a team that probably just ran out of gas.
Yeah, I think that's a fair analysis, and it was a bit concerning when you saw the 11 coming in of just where they were at physically. And mentally, yes, you have to get up for the final. I think you really have to give full credit to Salt Lake, the way they were able to go through this tournament and find those moments of quality, the ingenious sort of creativity from Rylan Hashimoto stood out. One of the players of the tournament for me.
So a 4-0 decisive win for Real Salt Lake here in this one. And quite the performance all told. A team that never trails in this tournament as well. Wins the final against LA Galaxy by a final score of 4-0. Our Adidas man of the match belongs to Rylan Hashimoto as RSL captures its second ever GA Cup championship. As we welcome you up here with our Adidas man of the match, Rylan Hashimoto, Michael Watring, and Kalen Carr with you. So great to have you on board for this one. Rylan, how does it feel to be a champion of the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup?
And it feels great. I can't explain the feeling. I'm so proud of the team. Like, put in all this effort. The week's coming up to GA Cup. We put in all the effort, and we got the result.
Rylan, I got to ask you about these goals, because you're in behind. It's a final, but you still decide to pull a rabbit out of the hat, a little creativity with the step over here. What's going through your mind?
Well, you know, my dad always taught me, you know, just go around the keeper if he's going to come out like that. And then, you know, I just want to do a little special, show some personality, and so just did that.
Reminded me a little bit of R9 stepping over like that. And then the second one is circulating around, good patience. But you get in this little half space here, and you're not shy.
No, I tell my teammates, if I got within 30 yards, I'm just going to shoot. Before the game, I'm saying that. You know, it came true.
Talk about your manager here. What kind of freedom does he give you to express yourself? And you've come over from the Northern California, become a part of this program. And what's it been like for you, this experience, and then getting to show your skills on the biggest of stages here at GA Cup Final?
Yeah, Coach Jordan is great. Lets us do a lot of stuff in the final third, show our creativity, our personality, and you know, it really just comes up well, especially in this team.
Tell me a little bit about the experience, because I'm from the Bay Area and grew up there, and you've now moved to Salt Lake. Just what does it mean for you, your family, the sacrifices, the changes, and everything that you've been through to have this moment?
It was great, you know, especially since I'm moving away from my family. I bet they're feeling great seeing me succeed, especially on TV. You know, I'm sure they're proud out there.
Absolutely.
We'll have the official award in just a few moments, but Rylan, you are the MVP presented by Adidas of the U16 Generation Adidas Cup. Like you were just mentioning, to make that change from Sacramento to go to Salt Lake, to culminate now here in your first season with Real Salt Lake by winning this championship. What kind of value does that bring to your experience by being with this MLS side?
Well, it brings a lot of, I'm very grateful, to be out here, first of all, to get the opportunity to play for such a good team. And then, you know, it feels great, especially since, you know, me personally and the team, we've been having some ups and downs, and it's great that we finally had some success, a lot of success.
So, yes, the team's going to get the trophy, but it's okay to stun a little bit. You're going to be the MVP. How's that feel to hear those 3 letters attached to your name?
You know, it feels great. You know, couldn't have done it without the team, but you know, I feel like it's well-deserved. I feel like I played well this tournament, and I'm proud of the work that I've put in leading up to this.
Rylan, thanks so much for the time. Congrats on the win, and go celebrate with your group.
Thank you.
That is Rylan Hashimoto with the MVP of this tournament, a U16 best. 5 goals, including a brace in this final for Real Salt Lake, and the championship for this group here today. So RSL gets the victory, and no team scores in the run of play against RSL. They outscore opponents 13-1, 5 straight clean sheets, 318 minutes without conceding a goal. Ultimately, the best team does hoist the trophy.
Yeah, but it's the balance for me that stood out from Salt Lake, where we've seen teams in the past think of like an Italian side or the Greek teams that went through the Euros. But there really wasn't much as far as the attacking phase of play, and it was the balance from Salt Lake that stood out as far as that creativity, the audacity even at times of Rylan Hashimoto, and that direct play that was really devastating. So that balance, I think, is where we see where it's really rare to see in a tournament play.
A champion was crowned in the U16 final at the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup, and it's a decisive win for Real Salt Lake, their second ever GA Cup championship. Michael Watran, Kalen Carr wrapping things up. It's the hold-up play from Van Parker that's been so valuable, and Hashimoto shows the creativity.
Yeah, and when the 9 drops, that's going to create runs in behind, and the deep-lying run here from Hashimoto is just perfectly timed. It's a well-weighted ball through, and then to pick his head up in this moment, to express himself as he said, I mean, what a time to do it. It's an audacious finish, but so clever, and Salt Lake take the lead here. You can see the confidence coursing through them at this point, and Martinez just slides it in top, and just excellent little turn here to feel the space, to sense where you are in the box from that 9 position. Parker has a great sense of where the ball is. He's pointing to the side. It comes to the right foot, but then he just sort of is able to just feel where the space is, that soft spot. It's too easy from a Galaxy perspective, but credit to Van Parker for the goal and the celebration.
2 goals in 2 minutes, and after 12 minutes it was 2-0. And then in the second half, Hashimoto, seemingly out of nothing here, blasts one from distance.
Yeah, but it's clever, patient build-up play, and it creates spaces. And in that little half space is where Hashimoto has been a problem all tournament, and generally it's been from going one-on-one in these positions. But this time, he says, I'm just going to have a go of it from distance. It's got this little inside-out swerve that gives no chance for Nelson. Just a perfect finish, and this was just a direct ball, and a little bit of where the Galaxy were at maybe mentally at this point in the match, and how RSL continued to push on the front foot. It was just relentless from them, and Van Parker should never be able to bring down the ball from a goal kick and put it in the back of your net. So that's a frustrating one, but full marks to him for continuing to push forward. How about this for the finish?
Parker bags a brace, and RSL have some hardware headed back to Utah. 4-0 winners of the U16s. Real Salt Lake beat LA Galaxy 4-0, and time to hand out some hardware here in Bradenton, Florida for the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. We join MLS Next Technical Director, Luis Robles.
Thank you, everyone, for attending the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. We're here to present the U16 results. After a thrilling final and incredible performances, we're going to start with the officials. Officials, please come and join us and get your medals. Let's give him one more round of applause. Something truly unique and special about Generation Adidas Cup is we get to see the stars of tomorrow. And there are many great team performances as well as individual performances. And we want to take the moment now to recognize our top scorer, our top goalkeeper, and our MVP of the tournament. We'll start with with our top scorer of the U16 bracket. From PSV Eindhoven of the Netherlands, 5 goals, Obama Apia. Next up for the U16s, we have our best goalkeeper presented by Allstate, conceding only 1 goal and 0 in the knockout rounds. From RSL, we have Konstantinos Kyriazis. Let's give him one more round of applause. And finally, we have our most valuable player presented by Adidas for the U16 2025 Generation Adidas Cup from RSL number 48, Rylan Hashimoto. One more time for Rylan. Congratulations. And next up, in the U16 bracket, we have our finalist, the Los Angeles Galaxy. Thank you for an incredible tournament, for inspiring performances. Please welcome the Los Angeles Galaxy. Let's hear one more round of applause for the Los Angeles Galaxy. Congrats on a job well done, group. And finally, we have our U16 champion of the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. Let's give a big round of applause for Real Salt Lake.
Generation Adidas Cup trophy heading back for the second time. Choose Utah. Braces from Rylan Hashimoto and Van Parker, the decision makers in this one against LA Galaxy. The celebration on as we're halfway through Championship Sunday. The U18 premiere back. It comes your way in just a moment. From our partner, Kalen Carr, I'm Michael Watrang signing off. AJ Ricketts and Kalen Carr have the U18 premiere final when we come back to Bradenton, Florida. 2025 Generation Adidas Cup may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer and Player Development, LLC.